What is required to complete an aircraft carrier? What is needed to save the national football team with an independent industrial system, developed economic civilization, and strong national defense capabilities? A generous wealthy man, a superstar, and a proud king of the times, Ein, has been reborn in the World Cup, and saving the national football team has become his mission that he must shoulder. In the darkness, he lit up a faint light. Q Group 992535100, The Little Idiot in Wangjia Village. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Wangjia Village, Taizhi District, Liaoyang City, Liaoning Province is a rural area in the suburbs, and almost all villages are surnamed Wang. Many people in the village make a living by farming, and the smarter one becomes a vegetable vendor. There are several medium-sized state-owned enterprises around who are still maintaining their last glory, barely able to support the workers to invest. The vendors are doing well in business. There is a quite unconventional child among the children in Wangjia village, named Wang Ai. This year. In 1993, he was just 6 years old. Wang Ai's father was a top student in the village back then, and he graduated from high school with a bit of culture. He and Wang Ai's mother, Ai Xiaoqing, were classmates in high school. Although they didn't even get into college, they both found a satisfactory partner for their families, which was also a great joy for everyone. Nowadays, the college admission rate of the general high school is less than 5%. After marriage, Wang Ai's father worked in a large collective enterprise nearby, running sales, and Ai Xiaoqing worked as an accountant. Their thoughts are quite trendy, so Wang Ai's name doesn't follow the rules of the elderly in the village. They pay attention to the rules of loyalty, filial piety, and righteousness, which violate the character. It's simple, the combination of parents and gender equality, so they are called Wang Ai. Unfortunately, the children of the same age in the village have unclear speech and big tongues. Wang Ai and Wang Ai, shouting, became Wang Air. However, Wang Yak, who was crouching at the doorstep staring straight at the yellow dog he had raised at home, had no time to think about these nicknames. If you were still wearing a plaid shirt at the bar watching the World Cup the moment before, and ended up with a bottle of wine accidentally knocked over, you would vaguely hear someone shouting. The next moment, you would suddenly open your eyes and find yourself squatting in front of your house, lost in thought, especially at your doorstep over 20 years ago. A few groups of children passed by the door shouting for themselves, Wang Air and Wang Air, but Wang Ai didn't calm down. Wang Ai lowered his head to look at his eye-catching shorts, then raised his hand to turn them over. They were very tender, and suddenly stood up and took off his pants. The big yellow dog ran away with a loud roar, thinking that Wang Ai wanted to pee on them, but the little owner just lowered his head to look at his own ***. Wang Ai sighed and casually put on his pants to continue squatting down. After more than 20 years, he became an online football commentator and had no cultural background at home, so he relied on his love for football and literature to struggle with it. There were not many hardships in the process. Although I don't have much money, I can still get by with a car and a house because I don't have a serious job or a girlfriend, and my life is still decent. This clang was thrown back by some great god, and more than 20 years of struggle turned into flowing water. Look at this house, adobe, look at this street, yellow earth, look at this yellow dog, silly and silly, look at this ****, living in vain, ah. Wang Ai sat on the threshold in distress. Now he couldn't figure out whether he had been reborn or had a big dream about future life. I remember there was a dream of yellow sorghum in ancient times, but this dream was so damn realistic. Whether it's true or false, I have to start all over again. The car is gone, the house is gone. However, if everything is true, it seems that this life can be much easier and there is no need to live so hard. Not to mention anything else, in my dream, I had a culture of graduating from university. I still remember my graduation thesis clearly in my mind. If I had to start over from elementary school now, Tsinghua and Peking University wouldn't dare to say that it would not be difficult to get into a national key program. Whether it's in the government or in a company, or marrying by Fume, I would have reached the peak in one step. If you want to make money, this is the time when people are getting rich. The land in their homes is also planted with corn and sorghum, and they directly change to roses. 1 year is 20 years old, and later Wangjia village will rely on this to develop. When there is $2, the state-owned enterprises will fall down, and it is time for private enterprises to set up a small paper mill of 1.2 million renminbi. Nobody cares about pollution this year. When the internet bat starts to run short of money, it will be able to spend money in a few years. What kind of feast, heaven and earth, where you want to sleep, where you want to sleep, what kind of Maserati or Rolls Royce, where you want to open. Drink soybean milk, drink a bowl of pour a bowl of what skill? I can pour 10 bowls out of one. Rebirths should be mixed up as poor writers who can make the starting point laugh to death, be scolded by readers to death, and easily climb to the peak of life without any difficulty. They should always challenge high difficulty points. What is the highest difficulty life task? Wang AI suddenly became enlightened. Is there a more challenging task for Chinese men's football? The greatest advantage of a reborn person is not knowing how many opportunities to get rich, but having both opportunities for young people and the resilience of middle-aged people. Wang AI didn't have the opportunity to play football when he was a child, but his physical fitness was very good. He can run for 11 seconds even in his 30s and can jump 8.5 meters in the long jump. After more than 10 years as a football commentator, he has a very good understanding of football. More importantly, Wang AI couldn't figure out what it meant to be reborn after watching the World Cup final. It seems that only challenging football is one's destiny. Wang AI burst out laughing after thinking it through, stood up and said, "De Huang, come over." The De Huang dog hesitated and leaned in, being held in Wang AI's arms. He was too young to move, and De Huang was so happy that he licked Wang AI's saliva. At 5 o'clock in the evening, Wang Bin and AI Xiaoqing went home from work together. AI Xiaoqing was tidying up dinner in the kitchen. Wang Bin sat inside and turned on the radio. After a while, he started playing storytelling. Lu Lanfang's The Complete Biography of Shuo Yu was not played every day, and every time it was this time, people driving on the road would stop to listen to storytelling. After a while, the meal was ready, and the three of them gathered around the Kong table and began to eat in the passionate voice of teacher Lu Lanfang. Just as the couple was about to take a walk after dinner, Wang AI, who had been holding it for a while, jumped up to his parents and said, "Mom and Dad, I want to go to school." Wang Bin smiled and said, "What kind of school are you going to? If you think about it, it will happen. Go out and play." AI Xiaoqing lowered her head and said, "Why do you want to go to school?" Wang AI. "I flipped through your elementary school books, it's too easy. I want to take the college entrance exam early to show you." The couple was stunned and looked at each other with a smile. Wang Bin said, "You can only attend preschool now. Actually, it's okay if you don't attend. Don't worry about going to school, just have fun." Wang AI pouted and said, "I'm not playing with those fools like them. I'm just picking out birds and fish all day. It's boring, I have to go to school." AI Xiaoqing didn't believe in evil, so she flipped through the book box and found her first-grade elementary school textbook. When she took the exam, Wang AI was indeed in full attendance. The couple was overjoyed. Not getting into college is a lifelong regret. They often nag at home, and their sons secretly read the textbook for the first grade of elementary school. At a young age, he has to face up for his parents. It's only June now, and it's still early for school. For the next 2 months, Wang AI will stay at home and self-study all day. He doesn't pay attention to his friends coming to play with him, and most of the time he sits at the door daydreaming. This fool's reputation is getting louder and louder. Section 2. The Prodigy of Hongqi Elementary School. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. On the opening day of September 1st, Lu Guanchang, the teaching director of Hongqi Primary School, pushed open the door of the principal's office and led in a family of 3. The principal looked up and said, "Oh, Wang Bin was one of his own students back then, and the other one should be AI Xiaoqing. These are all high school students these days, and the principal himself is just a high school graduate." The principal greeted the family of 3 to sit down, and after saying hello, Lu Guanchang smiled and said, "Principal Tan, a few days ago I told you that there was a prodigy coming, which is Wang Bin's son, Wang AI. Principal Tan is a southerner who looks a bit like Lenin. He is in his 50s and doesn't have much hair, but his smile is very kind, making people involuntarily want to get closer." After listening, he nodded with a smile and said, "I didn't expect it to be Wang Bin's child." Wang Bin was a leading student in school back then. Wang Bin was still a bit shy when facing his former homeroom teacher, but AI Xiaoqing didn't care about that. "Principal Tan, my son is much stronger than his father. When we both talk about not going to college, this child secretly puts in a lot of effort, and we don't know when it started. When he said he was going to school, we only realized that he had read all the books for the 2nd grade of elementary school himself. If he were to enroll early, there's really no need to trouble you. It's really a waste of time for my son to follow the class." Principal Tan's body remained steady, his eyes lit up and he said, "Did you learn it yourself? Didn't you too help?" Wang Bin shook his head with a bitter smile and said, "Teacher, how could the 2 of us think about these things? We can't get busy with work every day. Besides, this child is just 6 years old, and even if we hope his son is successful, we wouldn't force him to be so young." When we found out, he was already reading textbooks for the 3rd grade of elementary school. Even the textbooks we had been reluctant to throw away since our early years of study were somehow dug up by him. Principal Tan's gaze turned to Wang AI, who had been sitting silently next to AI Xiaoqing. The child was indeed young, and at first glance, he was 5 or 6 years old. However, his eyes were bright and he didn't feel intimidated when he looked at him. Instead, he smiled. With this smile, I saw only one of the front teeth in my mouth still shaky. Principal Tan waved and said, "What's your name? Come and let me see." Wang AI stood up and walked over to Principal Tan, speaking with a slight slip of his tongue as he changed his teeth. "My name is Wang AI. My parents were lazy when they named me, so just one random word each of them would be my name." Principal Tan and Director Lu Guanchang laughed heartily, while AI Xiaoqing reached out to fight. Wang Idiliu turned around and hid beside Principal Tan. "So tell me, what do you know now?" Principal Tan asked with a smile. Wang AI looked up with his hands behind his back and said, "Let me memorize the multiplication table for you." As he spoke, he patted it back. Principal Tan nodded and said, "Okay, what else can you do?" Wang AI looked around and picked up a People's Daily from the table. He began reading the newspaper, the Taiwan Question and China's Reunification, the Taiwan Affairs Office of the State Council, the Information Office of the State Council. First, Taiwan is an inseparable part of China. Second, throughout the article, except for a few words that he couldn't understand, he read it in its entirety. At this moment, Principal Tan was overjoyed. With just this literacy rate, he couldn't resist it for 3 years in elementary school. Not many students from Hongqi Elementary School had been promoted to junior high school for many years, and there were only a few left in high school. Most of them went home to help their families farm, and not a single one went to college. Back then, Wang Bin was the closest, but still lost by a quarter, which made Principal Tan regretful. Unexpectedly, 7 or 8 years later, the college graduates from that year sent themselves a real college graduate. What else can I say about this? Principal Tan opened the 2nd grade textbook and asked a question. Later, he directly brought the final exam questions for the 2nd grade to Wang AI. In just a few minutes, he scored full marks in both mathematics and Chinese. After Wang Ai finished answering the questions, Principal Tan directly instructed the 3-year homeroom teacher who had already followed the onlookers. Wang Ai will be transferred to school from tomorrow onwards, and all tuition and miscellaneous fees will be waived. So on the morning of September 2nd, Little Bean Bun came running with a backpack and kicked into the classroom of Class 1 for 3 years. The homeroom teacher happily introduced Wang Ai to everyone and used him as an example to encourage everyone to study hard. There are 2 people from Wangjia village in the class, and one is older than Wang Ai. After the first class, Wang Ai shouted, "Nice," from behind, and Little Uncle Wang covered Wang Ai from then on. Due to the rarity of Wang Ai's affairs, many people came to see him on purpose. They were all 10 years old, and Wang Ai was only 6 years old, 1 head shorter than them. But Wang Ai is not a real child. He understands the psychology of these children very well, so his mouth is sweet. Everyone likes him very much, and he studies well. If anyone doesn't understand and asks him after class, he will tell him, so he has a good relationship. Why does Wang Ai have to go to school? Because it's not easy to play football these days. Basically you can only follow the path of a sports school. But the big mud pit of Chinese football is rotting from top to bottom, especially since professionalization began in 1994 next year, it will never return on the bad road. Drinking, gambling, taking drugs, and prostitution are all in a mess. If Wang Ai rolls in this mud pit, it's hard not to be splashed with feces. And if you want to play football cleanly, everyone is covered in feces. Why are you clean? So many geniuses have been assimilated after returning to China, let alone Wang Ai. So, Wang Ai has to add his own aura to make others afraid to play with him, but as an ordinary family, what if he doesn't have a sports talent to bring with him? The simplest way is to go to school, use the student league system, or quickly get into college and play football abroad. Even if you can't go abroad and graduate from university at a young age, becoming a top student among the players can still make the supervisory department look up and serve as a role model, thus receiving better protection. Chinese players have a low level of knowledge and can't even recognize words. Suddenly, a college student player arrived, and there are many hidden benefits in various aspects. I am only 6 years old now, so Wang Ai is not in a hurry to practice his body, but his ball sense needs to be developed. So, after the first physical education class, Wang Ai found teacher Ren and asked to borrow a football to play at home. Although Wang Ai is very cute, the teacher dare not make any decisions. The school has property, so we went to find Principal Tan together under the influence of Wang Ai's persuasion. Principal Tan laughed and agreed upon hearing this. How much does a football cost? How precious a prodigy is. So, Wang Ai spent all day playing football, and when he got home, he just flipped the ball while reading. 6 years old is too young, making football seem too big. When Wang Bin and Ai Xiaoqing asked him, he said he liked it. The couple were also afraid that their son would be foolish in learning, so they didn't bother. Now Wang Yak has gone crazy playing. He has to sleep with a ball in his arms at night, and no one can stop him. He even said solemnly, "Female students can sleep with a doll in their arms. I don't have a doll to hold, so if I don't have a female student to hold, I have to sleep with a ball." Section 3. A Road Full of Flowers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the National Day of 1993, Wang Bin and Ai Xiaoqing's factory had a 3-day holiday. Wang Ai is clamoring to go to Anshan 219 Park to play, saying that he has been missing that big slide for a long time. The couple discussed and thought that their son's performance this month was very good. The school teachers all reported that he was learning very quickly, so they agreed. A family of 3 got up early on October 2nd and took a swaying bus to the train station. Although it is only 20 kilometers from Liaoyang to Anshan, there are still trains available. The key is that trains are cheap, only 2 yuan. I bought 3 tickets for the 8.45 train and waited for it to arrive in Anshan. It was just 9.30. 2 years ago on June 1st, a family of 3 came to play on the wave-like slide in 219 Park. Not only children, but adults also had a great time playing. These days, there are 2 cities in Anshan, Liaoyang, with a population of over 5 million. This slide is the only one that can be played anywhere else. The couple didn't have time to think about their son's good memory, so they excitedly left the train station and waited for a 216 bus not far away. During the National Day holiday, more and more people come out to play in Anshan. On the bus, people are mostly adults taking care of children. Children in big cities dress much better than Wang Ai, with boys wearing shirts and carrying pants, girls wearing a bow princess skirt, and Wang Ai wearing big shorts and a big back, which looks like she comes from the countryside. Ai Xiaoqing had a slight fever on her face, and even after rummaging through the boxes and cabinets before leaving, she couldn't find any good clothes for Wang Ai to wear. Wang Ai didn't care and continued to urge her, only to show her embarrassment when she arrived in the big city. Passing by the central hospital of Anshan, Wang Ai suddenly made a fuss about getting off the car. Ai Xiaoqing couldn't sit still in the eyes of the people around her who were looking at the villagers. After all, it was only 2 stops away from 219, so she followed Wang Ai's thoughts. As soon as she got off the car, Wang Ai ran forward with her short legs, and the couple chased after her. They saw Wang Ai diving into a shop called South China Flower Shop, and the couple had to follow suit. Pushing open the store door, a few people holding fresh flowers came out. When they entered the store, they found that Wang Ai and the staff were chatting. The shop assistant, a girl of 17 or 18 years old, asked Wang Ai with a smile, "Children, do you want to buy flowers?" Wang Ai raised his head and hands behind his back, "My family grows flowers." The salesperson's surname is Liu, and they are from Maotan, Liaoyang County. The fresh flower shop is owned by a relative in my family. In recent days, the sales of fresh flowers have increased significantly, but there is not enough supply. Most of these flowers are air freighted from abroad, and a small portion also have to be air freighted from Guangdong, which is extremely expensive. A rose costs 20 yuan without discount, a carnation costs 15 yuan, and a bouquet of stars costs 18 yuan. Would you like it or not? Thank you for your patronage. Seeing good business and no supply of goods, Miss Lu's aunt, Miss Lu, has been worried these days. At first glance, I heard of a family flower grower. No matter how many, mosquito legs are also flesh. Miss Lu, who had heard the news, quickly came out of the back room, ignoring that the other person was a child. She opened her mouth and asked, "What flowers do you grow in your family and how many do you have?" Wang Bin and Ai Xiaoqing were both confused when they entered the door. Just as Wang Bin was about to speak, he was secretly pinched by Ai Xiaoqing. Just listen to Wang Ai's answer. "No roses, my family already has an old nose rose. We have carnations, full sky stars, embroidered balls, and golden balls." Ms. Lu was a bit disappointed upon hearing this. Although there were many types, it didn't seem like she was a professional flower grower. "I guess so. My own flower shop has only been open for a year these days, so how can a farmer specialize in growing flowers? The relatives in Liaoyang County have not planted much, so they cannot afford it at all." However, Wang Ai's next sentence made Lu Xiaofu happy. Wang Ai gestured with his 2 small arms, "I have a big warm cellar at home, which can also be planted in winter." These days, warm cellars, also known as plastic greenhouses, are still a rare item. With investments of several thousand yuan, a farmer cannot earn 500 yuan a year. However, for the cultivation of flowers in the north, warm cellars are necessary. Otherwise, what would they sell in winter? "So, little friend, how about selling me flowers that your family has planted? The price is negotiable." Lu Xiaofu looked at Wang Ai with bright eyes. Wang AI nodded and said, "Wow, what price do you offer?" Several adults looked at each other with a smile. Wang Bin pressed down on his doubts and remained silent. AI Xiaoqing boldly walked up to negotiate the price with Lu Xiaofu. After a conversation, I realized how expensive these flowers are. Basically, half of the selling price is the purchase price. Ms. Lu was in short supply and decided to use roses as a substitute. After all, there are not many Chinese people who can see it these days, and the price is based on roses. Each rose costs 10 yuan. In the end, she took a copy of the price list she purchased and had her niece go to the nearby copying agency to make a copy and give it to a family of 3 to take away. Before leaving, he delivered it to the door and stuffed a business card. Wang Bin walked in and out in a daze, only waking up when he walked towards 219. Why did his wife and son, who were confused, talk about a business deal? Besides, when did the family plant flowers and where is the warm cellar? AI Xiaoqing pulled Wang Bin and muttered to himself, "There's something to do with this business. Last month, I worked hard and only earned 70.80 yuan in salary, and the couple only spent 15 yuan together. Now the couple didn't have the heart to play with Wang AI anymore. They promised to leave the restaurant at noon and tricked Wang AI into going to the Xinhua bookstore in Anshan City. Anyway, they had originally planned to leave the restaurant at noon. I bought a lot of technical books on flower planting and agricultural greenhouses in the bookstore, then turned around and went to the flower, bird, and fish market in Anshan City. I bought a lot of flower seeds and half-sized seedlings, and when I wanted to eat at noon, I realized that I had spent all the more than 100 yuan I brought with me. Not to mention going out of the restaurant, I searched through all my pockets and only had to pay for a ticket to go home." AI Xiaoqing apologized while holding her son, saying that she had brought him to play, but forgot about him and instead focused on getting rich. Wang AI waved his hand generously and said, "You may owe me for now 2 meals at the restaurant." How dare the couple negotiate the price? Busily agreeing. Although we didn't succeed in playing the game, we discovered a way to get rich. The couple summed it up and saw that it was winter, and the greenhouse had to be closed. We didn't have much money to start with, so we cleaned up our backyard and bought some scrap steel bars and iron bars from the factory. We simply welded them, tied them with ropes, and paired them with bamboo poles. We bought half a roll of plastic film at the agricultural technology station and leaned against the backyard wall. In 3 days, we closed a simple greenhouse of about 40 square meters. Although the couple is not a flower grower, they can be considered professional in terms of land cultivation. While reading a book and exploring, they bought hundreds of seedlings of various flowers at the flower, bird, and fish market. After half a month, combined with the memories of Wang AI's past, they were quite impressive. After finishing their work, the couple realized that they hadn't seen a penny, but instead spent several hundred on it. Although they were both young and had seen the world, they were still somewhat uneasy. At the end of October, it was getting cold. Wang AI urged the couple to pick up a cart of straw from the ground and put it back on a straw mat. After tying it, the mat was hung on the roof of the greenhouse and kept warm at night. The couple worked and worked hard, feeling tired and sore in the back and legs. Finally, by the end of November, the first batch of flowers was ready. Counting them along the wall, there were about 30 different types of flowers added up. AI Xiaoqing breathed a sigh of relief and slowly picked up the phone in her accounting office. Section 4. Opening of Wang AI Fresh Flower Shop. You are listening at novelfull.audio. November 30th is a memorable day. In the morning, AI Xiaoqing and Mr. Lu, the owner of the South China Fresh Flower Shop in Anshan, called and said that their own flowers were ready, about 30. Upon hearing this, Mr. Lu was overjoyed. Although the quantity was not large, this was the first batch of local flowers. It was much easier than competing with a group of flower shops in Shenyang and Dalian for so many air-freighted flowers. This logistics base must be well cultivated. Although it was the first transaction, the other party saw the money and could expand the planting without having to supervise themselves. The future supply of goods will be stable. Mr. Liu enthusiastically explained how to prune and keep warm, and agreed to deliver the goods to the store the next morning. AI Xiaoqing happily went home from work with Wang Bin. At home, without worrying about cooking, I went to the greenhouse to take a look at the blooming flowers, just like looking at a stack of money. It wasn't until Wang Ai cried out hungry that he woke up and smiled at each other. The next morning, the couple got up before dawn. They used a small shovel to scoop out soil and put it into a small medicine bottle. They used scissors to cut out a flower and inserted it into the mud. They layered the flowers in a hard cardboard box covered with cotton wool, and each flower was wrapped in a large plastic bag. 30 or so flowers didn't take up much space in total, but they were delicate. It was already very cold by the end of November, so most of the cardboard boxes were warm cotton wool and quilts. After packing up, Wang Bin hurriedly ate a few mouthfuls of rice and drank a bowl of congee, followed him as if he were a hero, gently held the paper box, and went out with great dignity. This morning, Ai Xiaoqing was restless, and Wang Ai, who was sitting in the school classroom, was also a bit uneasy. When Wang Ai saw his mother, who couldn't hide her smile, at the school gate after school at noon, he cheered and it was done. Sure enough, when he got home, Wang Bin was humming songs and stir-frying vegetables, but he rarely cooks. At the dinner table, Wang Bin specially poured a glass of wine for Wang Ai, but before Wang Ai could bring the glass, he was suffocated in one gulp. Angry Wang Ai stared straight. The couple laughed heartily. Wang Bin said, "Son, the family brought back 285 yuan from this business trip. You are the first to make it. It's time for your mother and me to add 2 months' salary together, but you're too young to drink alcohol for you. But I'll remember this wine for you, and we'll count it together when you grow up." Wang Ai rolled his eyes and ignored him while eating. Ai Xiaoqing touched Wang Ai's head and said, "Son, why did you just run into someone else's shop?" Wang Ai said, "I just want to go in and take a look at the flower cellar before seeing them. My son not only studies well, but also has a vision. He's really amazing." Ai Xiaoqing quickly praised Wang Ai and comforted him. Wang Ai pouted and said, "Since I don't have much money to spend now, I don't want any money. But there's something I need to say in advance. Mom and Dad, I plan to skip the next semester after finishing my studies." Skipping grades. Have you finished reading all the books in 3rd grade? I finished reading my 3rd grade books early and am currently in 4th grade. Next semester, I can read 5th grade books and have also read a portion of 6th grade books. The couple stopped eating now and started taking the exam by flipping through Wang Ai's 3-year elementary school textbook. After answering dozens of questions, they were able to answer fluently. This is really a prodigy. The couple are so happy. The business of selling flowers went smoothly forward, and Wang Ai's studies went smoothly. Although some people in the village are curious about what Wang Bin and his wife are doing, it is not easy to break into their homes. During the Chinese New Year, relatives asked a few questions and heard that even those who grow and sell flowers didn't take it seriously. Wang Ai's grandfather, Wang Cheng, was quite unhappy and gave Wang Bin a lesson. If he didn't farm well and work hard, what would he do? Wang Bin dared not distinguish, but Ai Xiaoqing was afraid that the high income of selling flowers would be overheard, so he pretended to be honest and remained silent, and this matter was fooled away. Fortunately, everyone in the village knew that these two were high-achieving students, and they were a bit out of touch. They just thought they were a scholar going crazy and just had a laugh before passing. In the Chinese New Year, the spring is warm and the flowers are blooming. In May of 1994, after half a year of exploration, the flower planting technology of the couple has become increasingly mature, and the control of the flowering period in batches has been done very well. Now, they can produce nearly 500 fresh flowers per month, earning a net profit of 4,000 yuan. Not only have they set up a greenhouse in their backyard, but they have also set up an ugly and inconspicuous plastic greenhouse in their front yard. The majority of the supply of Anshan South China fresh flower shop is supplied by Wangjia. A small portion of those without flower seeds have already been promised to find seeds by Ms. Lu from the flower shop. In just half a year, the couple has accumulated over 20,000 yuan in bank deposits and quietly become the richest person in the village. Fortunately, both of them are scholars with good manners. Even with money, they don't act recklessly. They still live their lives the same way they used to. AI Xiaoqing was all focused on saving money for Wang AI to attend college. Children from other families can only go to college when they are 17 or 18 years old, while their own ancestors, who are only 7 years old in the second half of the year, will have to skip grades and study for 6 years. Their days in college are much earlier than those of other children. On May 15, Wang Bin was not very happy when he delivered the goods back. It turned out that Mr. Lu from Anshan had lowered the price of the flowers, but the selling price remained the same. On average, the receiving price decreased by 20%. He said that the flowers could no longer be sold and the cost was higher. Wang Bin still has the foresight to travel south and north. Although the supply of goods has stabilized, he is envious of how much he earns from his own business. But this is the only flower shop in Anshan right now, and they can't help but lower the price. What's even more terrifying is that this time the price is lowered, and next time it may be lowered again. Wang AI looked at the couple's worries and chuckled, "Mom and Dad, there must be flower shops in Anshan and Shenyang, and there must be more than one. There must be more than one in Shen, Liao, and in cities who are considering planting flowers, but we are the only ones who are doing it like our family. This is a rare occurrence. Our family has been working for almost half a year, and no one in the village in front of us has followed suit. Is the only source of goods from our family. Are you worried about selling?" Wang Bin's eyes lit up and the next day he went directly to Shenyang without saying a word. After returning in the evening, the news was really good. Shenyang is truly the provincial capital, and there are currently 7 flower shops in the city. 3 companies have directly agreed to a monthly supply of less than 1,000 sticks, with a price reduction of 1 yuan based on air freight. The other 4 companies, although not so happy, were also very enthusiastic and agreed to wait and see the goods before placing an order. It should be afraid of encountering scammers or poor flower growth. The family counted the production of several households and could barely supply the 2 families in scattered quantities. The supply was in short supply, so what else was waiting for? The couple withdrew money from the bank and directly hired someone to hold the greenhouse in their own land. The couple originally intended to plant them directly on the ground, but Wang AI advised the flowers to be delicate. When encountering heavy rain, hail, insects, and so on, they had to plant them in the greenhouse to be safe. Wang AI's family was the first in the village to install a greenhouse, and now the villagers were moved. They came to inquire incessantly. Wang AI suggested to the family that they also plant flowers, no matter what kind of flowers they looked like, they would be harvested for 2 yuan per branch. The price is not high, but it is much stronger than farming. Cleaning up and planting the vegetable fields in front and behind the house can easily earn an additional 100 or 200 yuan per month. Nowadays, farmers can only earn 300 to 400 yuan a year when growing food, leaving them with nothing to eat. So if the villagers had the courage, they would buy some seedlings from Wang AI's family and compare them. In a month or 2, Wang AI's family did indeed purchase them with both money and money, which caused a sensation in the village. Every household, old and young, had flowers planted in front and behind their houses. The villagers were afraid that other villages would also plant them, so they begged the Wang AI family not to leave other villages. They also reminded each other that this was the village's plan to make a fortune, and no one was allowed to tell those from other villages. Those who came to learn from other villages did not teach, and the village committee even sent militia to guard the entrance of the village. No one from outside the village was allowed to enter. The village is heavily guarded. By the time Wang Ai was on summer vacation, the village had already become a large-scale flower grower, and every day, villagers came home to ask Wang Bin to come and collect the flowers. Previously, Wang Bin and his wife were celebrities in the village, and now they are highly respected, with smiling faces following them wherever they go. Wang Ai even encouraged the couple to open flower shops, telling them that there were fluctuations in the buying and selling of flowers. Other villages couldn't control it and had to have their own distribution channels. They all relied on others to rush in, and the market went bad. There was not much money to make from collecting and selling flowers. Let's start making it while there is no flower shop in Liaoyang. Having your own flower shop doesn't matter even if the flower planting business goes bad, and it doesn't matter if you lose it in the Anshan market in Shenyang. It won't be a shortage of flower growers, but a shortage of flower sellers in the market. After hearing this, the couple felt it made sense and decided to take a leave of absence without pay. Anyway, the 170.8 yuan that the couple added up to in that month was not worth it. Throughout the entire month of July, including their own family and acquired assets, they sold flowers for over 26,000 yuan per month, which is their annual salary of over 100 years. So he decided to look for a house at the entrance of major hospitals in Liaoyang. He originally wanted to rent a house, but when Wang Ai asked, a store over 30 square meters was only selling for over 20,000 yuan, so he decided to buy it. On August 15, Wang Ai's first flower shop opened at the entrance of the 4th hospital. The opening was very low-key, but the response was very loud. As the first flower shop in Liaoyang City, this small shop called Wang Ai Fresh Flower Shop is bustling with customers. These days, people have just earned $2 and are envious of Western life. A large number of petty bourgeoisie have opened their doors at the hospital, and those who come to buy flowers have stepped on the threshold. Although the price is very expensive, there is no shortage of wealthy people, especially those who visit patients in high-ranking wards, and no one is short of money. Ai Xiaoqing couldn't withstand it after 10 days in the store, so she quickly invited her best friend to help. Calculated in half a month, with a net profit of over 3,000 yuan. A month later, under the mobilization of Wang Ai, another flower shop opened at the entrance of another large hospital. Although the family had spent most of the money they had earned for half a year, it was actually a fixed monthly income. Ai Xiaoqing invited 3 classmates to help keep an eye on the store. Wang Bin not only kept tending to flowers at home but also went to deliver goods in Anshan and Shenyang every day. Later, in September, he even bought an old golden cup bread truck specifically for delivery. At this moment, Wang Ai breathed a sigh of relief, and his family's affluent life was considered stable. The first step for poor people is to talk nonsense, but as long as they take the step of making money, everything goes smoothly. Next is my own business. The 5th section alarmed the little prodigy of the education committee. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. While Wang Ai's family's business was thriving, he was not idle either. In June, he not only passed the double 100 final exam, but also took Wang Bin and Ai Xiaoqing, who were busy, to visit Principal Tan again. Principal Tan smiled inexplicably, so he invited a family of 3 into the house and praised Wang Ai before asking anything. Wang Ai smiled and said, "Principal, I want to skip a grade." "Oh. Jumping. Did you jump to 5th grade? Did you self-study well in 4th grade?" Wang Ai shook her head and said, "No, I'm going to jump to 6th grade. I've already self-taught everything in 5th grade." This time, Principal Tan was surprised. It's not uncommon for elementary school students to jump, but they always jump for a year. It's unheard of someone like Wang Ai to jump in 2 levels. No matter how simple elementary school education is, you still need to consider the foundation of elementary school students. Principal Tan looked at Wang Bin and his wife, and they both gave a bitter smile and said, "Teacher, this child is all self-taught and we don't need to take care of him. We've been busy doing some small business for most of the year, and we didn't care about him. He told us last night that we don't believe him either. Principal Tan looked at Wang Ai with bright eyes for a while, and saw that he didn't flinch at all. He smiled at him and said, when you encounter a genius, you can't follow the rules. We'll take the exam later, and if we pass, we'll jump. It's not a big deal. Lu Guanchang came with the final exam papers for 5th grade, all of which were printed by the school itself. The steel plates are still there, and as soon as they leave, there is one, which is not a problem at all. Principal Tan came out with Director Lu Guanchang and Wang Bin to help Wang Ai concentrate on answering questions, leaving the principal's office for Wang Ai to do. Lu Guanchang chatted with the couple, while Principal Tan smoked a cigarette to gather information. Half an hour later, Wang Ai smiled and pushed the door open. This year, there were only 2 subjects in primary school exams, Chinese and mathematics, and English had not yet reached primary school. Principal Tan walked into the principal's office without saying a word and picked up his paper to read, hee. Not to mention anything else, this child's pen handwriting is really good, and he doesn't know how to practice it. Principal Tan looked at everything at once and handed Lu Guanchang a book to continue reading. The two of them finished reading it in 5 minutes, without hesitation. They had just finished a year of elementary school, and the final exam papers for 5th grade were already full marks. It was determined that they would be in 6th grade in the second half of the year. If someone had been in elementary school for 6 years, they would finish it in 2 years. If someone had just started school at the age of 8, they would be going to junior high school. This is a matter of fate. How much money does he need to save on compulsory education for the country? Principal Tan hastily praised Wang Ai and sat in his chair, picking up the phone. Hello, Director Zhang. I'm Old Tan from Hongqi Elementary School. Are you busy now? Oh, I'm not busy. I want to report some good news to you. Yes, I'm just 7 years old this year, and I've only been in school for a year. Director Lu and I personally supervised the exam. Yes, I got full marks, and I'll be promoted to 6th grade in the second half of the year. What? Do you have time to come and take a look? Great, when will you come? Oh, come in the afternoon. Good, I'll definitely arrange it. Please give me your personal guidance when the time comes. Putting down the phone, Principal Tan's face lit up with joy as he waved his hand and said, Don't leave at noon. I'll treat you. In the afternoon, the head of the District Education Bureau will come over. Wang Bin, let me tell you, if you answer Director Zhang correctly, Wang Aiming can cross districts when he enters junior high school. He doesn't need to attend number 16 or number 3 middle school. If he does, he can directly attend number 1 middle school. A few people are very happy, number 1 middle school is a key high school. The probability of graduates from number 1 middle school finally passing the high school entrance exam and getting into university is 20%. Ordinary high schools don't even have 5%. I had a meal in the school cafeteria at noon, and there were no restaurants around this rural primary school. A few people had finished their meal and were focused on waiting for the leader to come. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Director Zhang and Deputy Director of the District Education Bureau were welcomed at the school gate. At present, the District Education Bureau is not qualified to equip a car, so the two people, along with the secretary, came riding bicycles and entered the campus with great enthusiasm, sweating profusely. At a glance, they saw Wang Ai. Director Zhang is very stylish, with a slick back. Are you Wang Ai's classmate? Wang Ai nodded with a smile and said, Hello Director Zhang, you've worked hard so far. I'll treat you to ice cream. He took out a few popsicles and gave them to a few people. Director Zhang laughed heartily, it was really hot enough, but what was rare was the child's heart. A few people happily ate ice cream and chatted for a while in the principal's office. Putting down the popsicle, Director Zhang smiled and said to Principal Tan, "Old Tan, it's not that our district doesn't trust you. It's really rare for this to happen. Your school's ability to cultivate a prodigy also shows that your school's level has improved, which is very commendable. Therefore, our district should take it seriously. Next, Old Tan and I will take this child's exam." Principal Tan quickly waved his hand and said, "Where and where?" Of course, the organization needs to confirm this big matter clearly. Lu Guanchang leaned over from one side, with a wrinkled smile on his face, holding all the textbooks and final exams from grades 1 to 5 in elementary school. Director Zhang nodded at him, didn't ask for the exam paper, and picked up the textbook directly. He was also afraid that Red Flag Elementary School would cheat, so he had the child memorize all the answers to the exam papers beforehand, so he decided to ask directly from the textbook. But if you have the ability to memorize all the textbooks, who cares about exams? Director Zhang took the textbook and didn't flip through it for a moment. With great interest, he asked, "Wang AI, what text or Tang poetry can you remember from this current situation?" Director Zhang was testing Wang AI's familiarity with Chinese language, but unexpectedly, Wang AI spoke up and said, "It's scorching summer now. I'll recite a song called Compassionate Farmers for you. It's just the right scene. On the day of hoeing the crops at noon, sweat drips down the soil, but little did I know that every grain of food on the plate is hard." Okay. A few people applauded together. Rural primary schools and rural education bureaus have the most emotional attachment to the issue of farmers. Director Zhang and his team rode their bikes all the way, feeling the cool breeze and feeling uncomfortable. However, on both sides of the road, there were countless figures weeding in the corn fields. This poem not only fits the scene well, but also reflects a broad perspective of an elementary school student. Is there anything else? Director Zhang smiled and asked again. Wang AI tilted his head and looked at Director Zhang, who was whistling and shaking his fan. There's another poem that's just not from a textbook, and it's a bit strange. Do you listen to it? Listen. I'm going to hear some strange trick. Okay, this poem I saw on the water margin. The daytime mouse by Xing sang, the scorching sun is like a fire, the wild fields and rice are half withered and charred. The farmer's heart is like soup boiling, and the prince and grandson shake the fan. Director Zhang laughed heartily after listening and said, the first 3 sentences are in harmony with the scenery. The last sentence is, here are all farmers, there are no sons or grandsons. Next, the deputy director flipped through the math book and took the exam from 1st grade to 5th grade. In the end, he even took out some thinking questions to take the exam. As a result, Wang AI achieved everything in one fell swoop and answered everything correctly. At the moment of parting, Director Zhang kindly squatted down and hugged Wang AI, saying, "Child, study hard. Study hard in 6th grade. I will come back when you have your final exam. As long as you do well, I will send you to the first middle school across districts. There are not many good schools in our Taizhi district, and if you were to study in a regular school, it would be delayed." Although Wang AI's psychological age was already very mature, he was still deeply moved when he saw such a sincere leader. He hugged the robust Director Zhang with his back hand, and the child's eyes were shallow and slightly red. "Uncle Zhang, thank you, you are a good person," he said. Director Zhang laughed up in the sky, got on his bicycle, and rode out of the campus in a leisurely manner. Section 6 Wang AI's Fan Group. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In September 1994, when the school started, the students of Class 1 of the 4 years habitually glanced at the front row seats, and Wang AI disappeared. At the same time, the classmates in Class 1 of 6 suddenly noticed a small bump in the front seat, holding a football bigger than their head. "I'm going, isn't this Wang Air from Wangjia village? How come we're in 6th grade? Wang AI is a small celebrity in school. There are only 2 classes in each grade of Hongqi Elementary School, with about 30 students in each class. Wang Air from Wangjia village goes straight to 3rd grade, which is something that Hongqi Elementary School has never seen before, naturally making people curious. However, Wang Air doesn't seem to be much of a big deal. He's not much of a small person, playing football to and from school all day long. When he asks him anything, he knows he's just fooling around with his big mouth open, either or just like a little fool. Some mischievous students are grabbing Wang Air's ball to play with. Wang Air can't beat anyone, so whoever wants to grab it will grab it. If you want to grab yours, I'll ask the physical education teacher for another ball. Then, Teacher Ren of physical education jumped out of the window on the 2nd floor and chased after the naughty child on the exercise field, beating him up. Some kids are not convinced after being beaten. Why do you just serve Wang Air fool to play with? Why don't you serve me? Teacher Ren roared loudly, if you want to study as well as him, what's the point of giving you a shot? I'll give you a javelin. After coming and going, no one dared to tease Wang Ai anymore. Wang Ai didn't like to talk to them, there was no way, there was no common language. Every day in the classroom, classes are full of supernatural wonders. He couldn't even listen to elementary school classes, but he didn't dare to go straight to high school. Now that he has been in elementary school for 2 years, it's already the limit, and no matter how little it is, it can't be explained. So every day during class, I am 100% distracted, either thinking about my family's business or studying my ball skills. A few teachers kindly asked him a few times, and when they saw him answering fluently, they sat down to continue their wandering. Unable to understand, they simply classified him as a genius's quirk. Over time, it became strange. The biggest quirk of prodigies is football. Not only do they play back and forth between school and school every day, but during break time, they also play ball alone on the playground with their heads covered. The male classmate asked him to throw sandbags and bouncing glass balls, but he didn't go. The female classmate came over and invited him to jump a rubber band, let alone go. The teachers and parents at Hongqi Elementary School pondered over how this football would help with their studies, but in the end, they couldn't figure it out. This time when school started, Wang Ai caused a huge sensation by jumping directly into 6th grade. It is understandable to enroll for 3 years directly, after all, the 1st and 2nd years of primary school are very simple. Some students have already learned it in preschool classes, but the knowledge in the 4th and 5th grades of primary school is a bit deep. My own child only goes to school at the age of 8, while others have to go to junior high school by the age of 8, which is too far off. Although rural families are not very concerned about their children's education, and there are many who are forced by the government not to attend, rural people also have a reverence for students who excel in their studies. How many adults are struggling to finish elementary school? Wang Ai from Wangjia village has a great future. So, many children, under the instigation of their parents, began to actively approach Wang Ai, seeking nothing but a touch of fairy spirit. This year, Wang Ai did not practice anything else in football, but only focused on improving his sense of the ball. Since we are going to challenge the hellish difficulty dungeon of the Chinese national football team, football is the only weapon. We need to increase our proficiency to death and grind this gray equipment into a divine artifact in order to have hope. To practice football well, the first thing is to be familiar with it. How familiar is it? It's not about memorizing how big or how many black and white sections football is, but about getting your body used to the existence of football and fully adapting various parts of the head, chest, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and feet to football. Football, after all, is not an organ of the human body. It is an original product and a plug-and-play device that is acquired. The more familiar the body is with football, the more it can be controlled on the field in the future. Wang Ai is still young, and his body is not in a hurry to practice, but the ball feels better as he trains earlier. In ancient times, when practicing martial arts, those who played with swords slept while holding swords, while those who played with guns slept while holding spearheads. This was to increase the body's familiarity with weapons. So over the past year, it may seem like Wang Ai is still playing aimlessly, but in reality, his body's understanding, familiarity, and adaptation to football have become quite high. In these days, Wang Ai doesn't even care about children's games, not even the little Overlord game console. It's either a bearded Italian bouncing against mushrooms, or small blocks shooting bullets and running around. What's the point? So apart from spending time wandering around in school classrooms, Wang Ai mostly spends his time on football, and at the age of 6 or 7, he is in the stage of growing his body. He plays football 24 hours a day without leaving his hands, which is equivalent to embedding football into his physical growth. This almost innate sensitivity and understanding of football is an advantage that a football player can enjoy for a lifetime. After practicing for a year and growing a bit, Wang Ai felt that he could move on to the next stage. His little tail happened to be string after string, so he decided to play with everyone. This made these children very happy. Wang Ai's football is like a treasure, and others are not allowed to touch it. This time, he actively invited everyone to play together, so he can kick hard. A group of 20 or so children were chasing after the ball on the playground, with smoke and dust rolling around. You kicked me, you kicked me, you kicked me. Wang Ai was not in a hurry either. He waited until these little tails got tired of playing before coming forward. He started playing the monkey run game with them bit by bit. Wang Ai had high expectations, so everyone was obedient and could play 11-player football in less than a week. In the afternoon of elementary school, there were only 2 classes. After school, Wang Ai and a group of fans played games on the playground. The physical education teacher on the second floor, Ran, noticed the fun and decided to go downstairs as a referee. Anyway, it was still early to finish work, with half an hour in the first half and half an hour in the second half, and a 10-minute break in between. After playing, he just finished work. So this competition is becoming more and more formal. Wang Ai plays as a winger on the field, and the physical confrontation between forwards and defenders is too strong for him to handle. Despite being the youngest and shortest in stature, after a year of loving each other with football, they still showed a huge advantage. Football was like sticking to Wang Ai's feet, and no one could grab it. On the contrary, it was swayed and rolled everywhere by Wang Ai's fake movements. Even if it was a physical collision, as long as it was not knocked down, the ball could not be lost. Children don't have much tactical literacy. When they see Wang Ai being too bullied, they don't care how their parents advise them. They might as well go up with 3 people, with strict front and back blocking, but they can't grab it. Instead, they go up with 4 people and just separate the person and the ball. Teacher Ren was so happy that he couldn't sit back and forth, while Wang Ai rubbed his head in distress. His dribbling skills were already threatening enough for these children, and there was no chance for him to improve. As for his physical speed and strength, it was no use being anxious now. He had to practice passing the ball, regardless of whether his teammates could catch and turn it into a goal. He knew how well he passed. These classmates don't have as much as Wang Ai thinks, they are so excited to play every day. There is a little I named Li Jun in the fan group. He first imitated Wang Ai's dribbling, and surprisingly had a good appearance. Unfortunately, he didn't have the practice of going to and from school every day in football, so dribbling was not good and often tripped himself. However, even so, he persisted because Wang Ai was so handsome when dribbling. You don't have to hold on to Wang Ai with your hands, you can't grab it. Li Jun also became Wang Ai's first true fan in football. Not only did he play football with Wang Ai every day after school, but he would rather take a big turn on the way home than accompany Wang Ai to the entrance of Wang's village before returning home. Section 7 Leading Era Football Techniques. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wang Ai warmly welcomed Li Jun's appearance. Although there were other classmates who used to play football with him after school, they all kicked the ball recklessly. Even under jealousy, they kicked the ball and couldn't find it for a long time, so Wang AI didn't bring anyone else. And Li Jun is his own fan, he won't do these scumbags. Two people can practice passing and receiving the ball while walking, and this mobile passing is a great skill. Not to mention anything else, in the 1990s, not to mention China, which is a football powerhouse in Europe, passing on the field is still a positional pass, where the receiver stands in place and waits for the ball to come. Mobile passing is a technology that has only become popular in European countries since the new century. In fact, when passing the ball, not only does it pursue accuracy, but it also adds a prediction, predicting the position where the teammate will run. After the teammate runs, the ball is accurately in place, which does not affect the teammate's movement. This not only increases the attacking speed, but also undermines the opponent's possible interception, especially when it comes to seizing control in the midfield, which is very important. When the first decade of the new century passed and mobile passing technology became widely used globally, European football powerhouses developed mobile grabbing step receiving technology. This means that the receiver not only runs in the original direction, moves to receive the ball, but also takes 2 steps towards the direction of the incoming ball when receiving it. This means intercepting the ball halfway through the predetermined passing route, thereby disrupting the opponent's potential interception. This is actually the mutual progress of football technology. But now it's only the 1990s. Whenever you open a TV station to watch a football game, passing the ball is point to point. The receiver stays in place, and the ball can be passed 1 meter in front of the receiver. The receiver just lifts their foot and stops, which is a good ball. In A.League matches, there are often point to point passes that are kicked away, which not only fans, players, and coaches are not concerned about. During regular training, passing the ball involves drawing a 2-meter circle on the ground and kicking it in. Not to mention using a curved ball to pass the ball, there is no such thing as going straight back and forth. 2 rural children carrying backpacks walked home from school while kicking and passing balls to each other, giggling and laughing. No one took it seriously, even the physical education teacher didn't notice anything special. Only Wang AI knows that this is already the world's leading passing technique and philosophy. As he needs to go home, he cannot stop in place, and the passer must make predictions to maintain a normal pace, walking and kicking at the same time. If Wang AI's body is negatively affected by the system, this skill is definitely a golden divine skill. Unfortunately, it's useless. Moving passes or even grabbing and receiving balls requires the cooperation of 2 people to be effective. Now, Li Jun, with his small eyes in front of him, can unconsciously cooperate. Mobile passing is not only a technique, but also a consciousness. The passer's prediction must be accurate, and their footwork must be precise and error-free, so that the receiver can receive the ball without delaying speed. The receiver must accurately judge the strength, speed, landing point, and rotation of the incoming ball while moving, and must stop the ball with 1 foot, try not to affect speed, and maintain an attacking posture. This requirement has exceeded the common technical literacy of players in this era. However, although Wang AI may not be able to master this technique, the presence of Li Jun can still help him hone his passing footwork, strength, speed, and predictive ability, which is very helpful for improving the accuracy of Wang AI's footwork and also greatly beneficial for improving his judgment of incoming balls. Wang AI not only performs ordinary passes and catches, but also begins to practice curved balls and grabbing steps to catch the ball. In the eyes of Teacher Ren in physical education, he doesn't play football honestly, like an ADHD person, bouncing around aimlessly. At the entrance of the village, the 2 of them separated. Wang AI went home to do his homework and finished it in 10 minutes before almost finishing his meal. After a meal break, the family of 3 went out for a walk. AI Xiaoqing's flower shop currently had no night business, and Wang Bin's flower planting and delivery were completed during the day. Therefore, the family of three still maintained a normal daily routine. Go to the small forest at the entrance of the village. The couple continue to walk forward, while Wang Ai goes into the forest to practice ball. This forest is a tall poplar grove. Wang Ai placed a row of bricks in the open space of the forest to practice dribbling. He simulated various interception postures and states of the opponent's players in his mind, adjusted his body to make various ball protection movements, and flexibly dribbled the ball over the opponent's simulated release state. When he was tired, he held the ball and sat on the ground to rest for a while. After resting, he continued to practice. Wang Ai deeply understands that the body can grow slowly, and skills must be honed from a young age. I have made my family wealthy, so there is no need to worry about the nutrition during adolescence. In addition, I am familiar with the most advanced methods of physical exercise for players, so my body is definitely not bad, but my skills are different. This has nothing to do with whether I have money or not. Brazilian children play football barefoot and don't even have shoes. Especially in dribbling techniques, there is often a transformative power on the field. An inadvertent dribbling can open up the angle of shooting or passing, instantly changing the situation on the field. At the same time, dribbling is also the most eye-catching and the main method for players to compete with each other. For example, players face off challenges in dribbling and interception techniques. And dribbling and interception are two sides of the same coin. In addition to relying on physical interception, a player with excellent dribbling also has a more accurate judgment of the opponent's dribbling and higher interception efficiency. So, Wang Ai practiced dribbling as a core skill. Due to having only one person practicing dribbling alone, Wang Ai's dribbling appears very elegant and graceful. Under the simulated strong center back and fierce back interception in his mind, he uses a bicycle or a cow's tail to cross at high speeds, a cow's tail or fried meatballs to cross in positional battles, and a strong opponent to turn and protect the ball. These skills have practical opportunities on the court every day after school, which can increase proficiency. However, the opponent's level is limited, and the pressure on Wang Ai is too small. Therefore, Wang Ai hopes to simulate dribbling techniques facing the highest level defender. Once, Wang Ai was so engrossed in practice that Wang Bin and Ai Xiaoqing didn't even notice when they came back from a walk. It wasn't until Wang Ai finished sweating and stopped that they saw him. Ai Xiaoqing came up and lovingly touched Wang Ai's steaming head, saying, "Son, are you practicing ball or dancing? It's so beautiful." Wang Bin frowned and ignored Ai Xiaoqing, glaring at him. "Your move is too fancy. What's the use of it? You can't play it on the court." Wang Ai was not convinced and said, "Dad, let's give it a try." "Yo ha. Call me your old man. If it weren't for focusing on studying, I would have been selected for the high school team." Wang Bin became interested. Ai Xiaoqing pouted and said, "I didn't play football and you didn't get into college. Our son is so successful. Let me tell you, Wang Bin, don't bully my son." Wang Bin waved his hand generously and said, "Don't worry, why isn't your son my son? We're just comparing our skills and bodies, which is bullying. Back then, I relied on my skills to make the coach choose me." The father and son were ready for a 1-on-1 bullfight, and Wang Ai took the ball first. He looked at Wang Bin, who was 1.8 meters tall, and felt excited in his heart. This was almost the most difficult confrontation. The opponent's defender was tall and strong, with long legs and a large control area, but his reaction was definitely slower than his own. Attackers with excellent skills like this kind of defender, not only could they play to their technical advantages but also often make the opponent very embarrassed. Wang Bin bent over and boasted, "Come on, see how you deal with me, come on. Lie down." As soon as Wang Ai reached in front of him, he flicked the ball with his left foot to the left. Wang Bin immediately judged that his son was going to overtake from his right side and extended his leg. However, Wang Ai's short leg did not leave the ball at all. As soon as the ball moved to the left, it pulled back and pushed to the right, closely following Wang Ai's small body to cross Wang Bin's left side. At this moment, Wang Bin had just retracted his leg. A beautiful cow tail surpasses others. Wang Bin's smile at the corner of his mouth had not completely dissipated, and he stared blankly at his son who had already turned around with a proud expression on his face. Ai Xiaoqing applauded and laughed beside him. "Come on, I didn't pay attention earlier and let your kid pick up a bargain." Wang Bin was not convinced. Wang Ai chuckled and said, "Dad, you won't be angry and embarrassed, will you? I'm going to beat you again soon, and even shake you off. You won't get up and beat me, will you?" If that's the case. Wang Ai dragged on for a long time and said, "Actually, I can't beat Dad. Dad's skills are the most amazing." After saying this, he raised his two thumbs and shook them vigorously, looking impressed. "Bastard." Wang Bin raised his hand in anger and put it down in frustration. "Son, Dad always keeps his word. If you can pass me off again, I'll treat you to dry fish fillets." In this era, a bag of dried fish fillets costs 2 yuan each, which is very delicious. Wang Bin would never want to part ways with it. He could only buy one bag during the Chinese New Year. However, in the past year, the family's economic conditions have been greatly improved, and Wang Bin has become more generous. Ai Xiaoqing testified that the father and son began the second round. Wang Ai came running with the ball from about 10 meters in front of Wang Bin. He moved his body to the left and made a left-footed move. Wang Bin became more careful, retreating while keeping an eye on him. Seeing his son's intention to break to the right, his body's center of gravity adjusted accordingly, but his foot did not urgently extend. Sure enough, the little guy on the other side was really feigning, and he would have moved to the other side again. Fortunately, he didn't make a move just now. Wang Bin was overjoyed by his correct judgment and quickly stretched out his foot. Then, the ball disappeared. And by the way, the figure also disappeared. The ball was pushed back in its original direction by his son, and it was about to break through. Wang Bin, feeling anxious, instinctively extended his other foot, but the speed was too fast. The consequence of both feet being extended was that his center of gravity was lost, and he sat on the ground with a thud. Amidst Ai Xiaoqing's laughter, Wang Bin stood up and slapped the dust, his mind full of the remnants of his son in front of him just now. His upper body shook rapidly and violently, and his feet flicked the ball back and forth like lightning. He couldn't figure it out why he had just passed and why he had fallen. Wang Ai, who had completed a highly challenging pendulum-style stunt, didn't dare to feel proud on her face, afraid that her father would really get angry, but she was satisfied in her heart. The most common type of defender on the field is this one with tall legs and a large control area, which is a crucial attempt and a representative breakthrough. This proves that Wang Ai's dribbling skills do have a significant advantage when facing ordinary defenders. Because as Wang Ai grows up, when he can truly play football, the physical gap between the two sides will not be so big. Although Wang Bin is an amateur, the physical gap between the two sides has smoothed this out. Wang Ai is only 1.2 meters now. The mysterious legend in Section 8. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Words like female doctor and academic achiever all have an additional meaning, almost equivalent to pervert, just like the feeling of a student studying at Hongqi Elementary School from 1993 to 1995 who can no longer see Wang Ai's background. In a daze, that child who is even younger than oneself, playing football all day, comes to school. Has been studying for 6 years. Has entered middle school. I am still in 3rd grade of elementary school, and others are in 3rd grade of middle school. However, in the end, the proud sons of heaven are all ordinary people, just like the female doctoral students who are also gossiping enthusiasts in private. The academic elites who encounter the king's pesticide are equally excited and unable to sleep, and the top scorers in the college entrance examination who encounter the goddess in their hearts are also blushing and neck thick. So in 1995, a mysterious legend began to circulate in Shi Middle School. There was a special genius in our school. His parents were both scientists, and they were engaged in national confidential projects and had no time to take care of their children. They were also afraid that their children would be kidnapped by enemy spies in Beijing, so they secretly sent them to the third-tier city of Liaoyang to study. Although the informed teacher refuted the rumors on a small scale, it was of no use and they spread more and more widely. Because for these children who can get into the first high school, apart from such legends, it is impossible to explain what they have seen. Director Zhang of the Education Bureau of Taizhi District made his promises, and of course, Wang also made his promises. In the final exam of Hongqi Primary School in June 1995, under the attention of officials such as the Director and Deputy Director of the Education Bureau, the Basic Education Office, the Supervision Office, the Party Committee Office, and the Discipline Inspection Commission Office, as well as the head of the Basic Education Office of the Baida District Education Bureau, as well as the principal, teaching director, and class teacher of Hongqi Primary School, Wang answered the exam alone in 2 hours, including mathematics, Chinese, nature, and ideological and moral education. The teachers from the basic education departments of the 2 districts personally reviewed and graded the papers, and in the end, except for 1 point deducted from the Chinese essay, all were given full marks. Of course, during the exam, football was not allowed to be brought in, so Wang wore a jersey from the 1994 World Cup champions Brazil, with the number 11. Wang wants to integrate football into his life. Even without football, he needs to wear a jersey. Fortunately, the leaders do not care about the quirks of treating them as genius children, let alone the fact that elementary school exams are just college entrance exams. As long as they are not dressed in strange clothes, no one cares. Director Zhang and others, who were full of energy, had lunch at Hongqi Elementary School at noon. In the afternoon, they led a group of people from the Baida District Education Bureau to kill City No. 1 Middle School. Principal Li of Shi Middle School has long been eagerly awaiting it. Cross-district enrollment is actually very troublesome. Even in this era where regulations are not very strict, school enrollment depends on the household registration address. If it meets the requirements, welcome to visit. If it does not meet the requirements, it will be closed outside. Having money is not easy to use, unless one's family is at or above the middle level of the municipal party committee in government. Of course, Wang does not meet any conditions, but his hard power is enough to break all rules and regulations. The Education Bureau of Baida District is satisfied with obtaining a genius, the principal of No. 1 Middle School is satisfied with obtaining a genius, and the Education Bureau of Taizhi District is satisfied with not delaying the growth of a genius. Even the leaders of Taizhi District praised Director Zhang. Because this child's future achievements are limitless, the Taizhi Education Bureau will take the initiative to serve today. In the future, they may not know when they will remember and will help you. Of course, they believe that Wang must have entered politics, and never expected that Wang would have played football in college, otherwise he wouldn't have put in so much effort. With 2 Education Bureau leaders as guarantors, Principal Li naturally does not need to take any entrance exams. However, after Principal Li smiled and said politely, "What are the requirements and difficulties?" Wang carrying a backpack and holding a ball, said crudely, "I want to enter the 3rd year of junior high school." Principal Li kept a sentence in his mouth and said to himself, "Little student, there is a 39th Army headquarters near us. You're flying so high, be careful not to let anti-aircraft guns hit you." Although it's unbelievable, no one dares to doubt the strength of this 8-year-old child. Principal Li instructed someone to bring the final exam papers for the 2nd year of junior high school, which only covered the 3 subjects of mathematics, physics, chemistry, history, geography, Chinese, and English. They are all hard to memorize, but if you only know mathematics, physics, and chemistry in the 2nd year of junior high school and not in the 1st year, you won't be able to do it. Conversely, if you know it in the 2nd year of junior high school, there will definitely be no problem for those in the 1st year. 3 test papers, answered in 1.5 hours, Principal Li personally reviewed and graded them, all full marks. At this moment, 2 officials from the Education Bureau and 2 principals from Hongqi Primary School and City No. 1 Middle School looked at each other and said, "Are you really asking him to directly attend the 3rd year of junior high? Junior high school is different from elementary school. There are too few students who skip grades in junior high school, and even if they do, they only skip 1 level. After finishing the 1st year of junior high school, they can directly read the 3rd year of junior high school, which is already quite outstanding. It is enough to be written into school history, but I have never heard of anyone who directly reads the 3rd year of junior high school. In addition, I have only been in elementary school for 2 years, but there is no reason not to let him read." Judging from his speed of answering questions, especially his pen and pen handwriting, Chinese is not far behind, so history and geography are not much worse. Even if English is poor, the overall score is not bad in this subject, and this little guy looks relaxed, probably not bad. Principal Li gritted his teeth and thought for a moment, "Wang Ai, I have friends at the University of Science and Technology of China and Dongdu University. In your situation, you can actually take the youth class directly. Do you want to take the exam?" Wang Ai shook his head and said, "Someone else has told me before that Principal Tan asked me. I don't want to attend the youth class, they are all engaged in scientific research and will become scientists in the future. I don't want to be a scientist." A cadre of the Taizhi Education Commission couldn't help but interject, "Wang, are you planning to enter the government in the future?" In this cadre's vision, if such a genius could graduate from university at the age of 15 or 16, he would definitely be directly recruited by the central department, and then the Taizhi district would be considered as having someone in the central government. No. Wang Ai shook his head firmly, his eyes lit up, and he looked into the distance with longing. "I want to go to college quickly. After finishing college, I'll go play football." The cadre was stunned. Playing football? What kind of ghost is playing football? Principal Tan quickly interrupted when he saw where this was going and said, "Principal Li, do you think Wang Ai's situation is suitable for studying in the 3rd year of junior high school?" Principal Li shook his head, and everyone's heart sank. Principal Li sighed and said, unexpectedly, "Extraordinary people must do extraordinary things. Although I have the intention to encourage him to study for an extra year to accumulate some knowledge, there is no need to be in such a hurry. But when this child's academic performance reaches this level, studying for an extra year will be a waste of time. All right, the school starts on September 1st and we will report to class 1 every 3 years. Wang Ai cheered while holding the ball and raised it high. After a moment, he felt it was not appropriate and quickly put down the ball. He loudly said, "Thank you Principal Li, I have reserved a spot for the first high school next year." Principal Li laughed heartily. One high school is the key point, and the other high school is also the key point. Although he doesn't care much about having an extra one to enter first high school, having an extra one is always good. After leaving the school, Wang Bin and Ai Xiaoqing welcomed them and expressed their gratitude to the leaders. No amount of money can bring up this grand scene. These people didn't even eat a bite from the old Wang family. They didn't come here for this purpose, so before leaving, they reminded Wang Ai to study hard and his attitude was called friendly and kind. In the end, only Principal Tan and his family of 3 had a simple meal together, which could be considered a double thank-you banquet. Wang Bin was Principal Tan's student, and Wang Ai was also one of them. 2 months later, when the freshmen of No. 1 Middle School found Wang Ai walking into the campus, they instantly thought they were still in elementary school. Wang Ai was only 8 years old, only 1.2 meters tall, carrying a big backpack. Especially when they found Wang Ailua passing through the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd floors, they looked at each other in surprise. A boy reached out and compared, "Are you so short in junior high or junior high?" The girl next to her also had an incredulous expression on her face. "I can't do it, that face looks like my younger brother who just started elementary school this year. Dwarfism, another boy interjected. Another girl pondered and said, it should be the son of a third-year teacher who came to find his mother. The little tadpole is looking for his mother. At this moment, a teacher walked over and scolded with a stern expression, do you think you're amazing just because you got into number 1 middle school? That classmate's name is Wang Ai, and he's just 8 years old. After 2 years of elementary school, he self-taught courses for grades 1 and 2 in 6th grade. So, when he first started school this year, he went straight to grade 3 and will take the exam next year. Look at you all, there's still time to gossip. The proud sons of heaven were deeply affected and returned to the classroom dejected, secretly determined. Don't look at how fast you run, I will definitely do better than you. In addition to Wang Ai passing the strict entrance exam, number 1 middle school also has the purpose of further motivating students by agreeing to allow him to directly attend the 3rd year of junior high school. This cunning strategy really worked. Students who are able to pass the exam are all arrogant, and without a harsh stimulation, it is easy for them to relax. However, this stimulation is a bit harsh, and many students swear in their hearts to fight Wang Ai to the end. In a short period of time, the relaxed atmosphere of new students or old students who come back from vacation every year has been swept away. Instead, there are many who hang their heads, prick their thighs, and spend the night reading and studying with a small flashlight in their bed. At 5 o'clock in the morning, everyone was reading under the streetlights. Number 1 middle school is no longer worried about the academic performance of these students, but rather about their health. However, Wang Ai doesn't care about these things. In his 3rd year of junior high school, Wang Ai has one goal: to learn English well. Wang Ai is weak in foreign languages. It's not that she lacks the talent to learn, and foreign languages don't require much talent. As long as she studies diligently and memorizes by rote, it will suffice, but it requires a lot of time and investment. Besides English, Wang Ai plans to thoroughly study middle school mathematics, lighting up all the blind spots he doesn't know. As for language, history, politics, physics and chemistry, there is no pressure. 1 year later, as a freshman in the 1st year of junior high school, he advanced to the 2nd year. By the time he could see Wang Ai's back, he had already passed the middle school entrance examination. His small figure holding a ball gracefully disappeared, leaving behind only a legend passed down from generation to generation about the son of a mysterious scientist studying at the first high school. Section 9 Flowers and Paper Industry. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the year of number 1 middle school, Wang Ai did not live on campus, but went on a day study. Apart from studying English at a fixed time every day, he reviewed all other subjects in 1 month, and spent the remaining time practicing basketball. Every day after school, Wang Bin drives that shabby van to pick him up. Nowadays, Wang Bin is no longer just a flower farmer who grows and delivers flowers. Without the knowledge of the villagers, he quietly registered an entity called Wang Ai Flower Company. This way, dealing with flower shops is just a matter of business to business, which is very helpful for expanding the market. When the company registered its capital, Wang Bin and Ai Xiaoqin wanted to deal with it casually, but were persuaded by Wang Ai to obtain the bank passbook for verification by the Industrial and Commercial Bureau. In the end, the registered capital was 200,000 yuan. That's right, starting from the autumn of 1993 when I received the first payment of 285 yuan for sending flowers to the fresh flower shop on South Zhonghua Road in Anshan. By the first half of 1996, in just 2.5 years, Wang Ai's savings had already exceeded 1 million. It's not easy to enter a niche industry, and most people can't figure out the way, but once they enter, it's always a huge profit. Not to mention the investment of Wang Ai's family in opening 4 fresh flower shops in the city, the daily turnover of the 4 shops is just over 8,000. The registered office address of the company is the first Wang Ai fresh flower shop. Wang Bin is still responsible for collecting flowers in the village now, but he has already deducted two 200-meter-long and 10-meter-wide greenhouses specifically for planting flowers. Wang Ai's aunt, second aunt, and old aunt have been invited by Wang Bin to help with a monthly salary of 100 yuan. Although Wang Ai's family is still an adobe house, with the shabby appearance of a borrowed tattered van with air leaks and peeling paint, even outsiders can tell that Wang Bin, this talented person, has risen up. So the villagers who had thoughts and activities secretly inquired, but unfortunately, it was always Wang Bin who sent flowers alone, and others couldn't figure out the details. The person who didn't give up went to the flower shop in the city again to ask, and they said that their store has a fixed channel for collecting flowers, and scattered ones are not collected. What? Low price. We don't accept low prices either. Our store requires a large quantity and stability. How much do you ask us? It was originally a trade secret and I didn't want to tell you. If you sincerely ask, I'll let you know. A fresh flower looks good and the timing is good. It's 2.5 yuan. What? Why do you ask me why I charge so cheap and sell so expensive? This house, this shop, cannot pay rent. Can't we tax the country? Can't you pay for health, urban construction, education, and family planning? I am not allowed to earn a salary to support my family. Isn't this all money? The smart man, who had been photographed with blood on his face by the salesperson, left in embarrassment. He turned around and instinctively glanced at the sign, then slapped himself in the face. Wang Bin's son's name was Wang M, and he was usually called Wang Air. Wang Bin now collects flowers in aluminum alloy boxes, which are filled with foam for heat preservation. At a glance, they are very expensive. The independent door of smart people has been knocked down, and the rest are all cowards. Although we can understand the momentum of the Wang family, after 1,000 years of decline, the promotion of high-value crops must first cross people's thinking. People are worried that planting flowers is not guaranteed. If you agree to harvest, I will plant all the flowers, and then you don't harvest, my whole family will be starving from eating flowers. How about paying taxes with flowers? Even if Wang Bin signs a contract as collateral, no one believes that he wants to deceive me with just a blank piece of paper. I still have a white government note at home. So in the village, the main focus is on planting flowers on scattered plots of land in front and behind the houses. If you get some money and deduct a small greenhouse, you will be very satisfied. If you save an extra year or two and have enough money, you can directly plant out-of-season vegetables in a greenhouse on the land, which is the long-term way to make a living. Don't be fooled by the excitement of jumping in Wang Bin's house now, you will definitely make a list in the future. Accompanied by a little jealousy and a lot of doubts from the villagers, the assets of the Wang Ai family swelled up like a puff of air. However, in the second half of 1995, this trend slowed down. Whether it was flower shops in Shenyang or Anshan, a fresh flower transported by air from outside continuously lowered its price under the impact of local flowers, and local people began to plant flowers scattered. Although Wang Ai's family has good flower patterns, positive colors, and a good taste. The branches are stretched out, but they are also constantly lowering prices, from an average of 8 yuan per branch to 7.5 yuan, and then to 7 yuan, 6.5 yuan, and 6 yuan. And Wang Bin's purchase price is still 2 yuan per piece, and he is prepared to adjust the price flexibly according to the planting cost. In short, in the second half of 1995, the income from collecting and sending flowers was exceeded by the net income of the flower shop. Of course, with a net income of around 50,000 yuan per month, only Wang Ai and his family of 3 are happy in their hearts. But the couple is also worried about their millions of savings. How should they spend so much money? Wang Ai proposed 3 solutions. First, professionalization of the flower company. After the flower farmers plant flowers, the flower company is responsible for cutting, packaging, storage, and sending flowers. At the same time, they sign advance payment contracts with experienced villagers. Don't you earn less than 500 yuan in grain per year? I'll give you 300 first to reassure you, then I'll lend you money to keep the greenhouse, and you'll specialize in growing flowers. I will pay you 300 yuan at the beginning of each year, and then give you 500 yuan in the middle of the year. The remaining income will be converted into this 800 yuan and the cost of the greenhouse. When the repayment is completed, it will be your own, and it's worth investing 50-100 to 60-100 yuan in the greenhouse. Now, farmers are very enthusiastic, and who wouldn't take advantage of the situation without losing out? This is much stronger than government bare-mouth investment. However, the Wang family was not in a hurry to expand. In the first year, they only signed contracts with 2 villagers, one of whom was Wang Ai's uncle Wangjia. The villagers walked to Grandpa Wang Ai by the back door. Old Wang is now powerless towards his eldest son. Don't worry if it's just kicking and smoking black smoke, even their cars got mixed up, and the whole village didn't even get a small handlebar. The flower company is expanding and needs to hire specialized personnel, including technicians with certain agricultural knowledge for flower planting and cutting, temporary warehouse managers, and several people such as aunts, second aunts, and elderly aunts in the greenhouse. In addition, Wang Bin also hired a professor in the field of flowers at the city agricultural school as temporary guidance, costing 300 yuan each time. He is responsible for flower planting and pest control once a month. These days, the professor's monthly salary is less than 300 yuan, so the professor is quite proactive, delicious, entertaining, and earning money, just once a month. This extra income is too easy to earn. So, the flower planting in Wang Bin's family is already quite professional, and it is completely different from the scattered ones in ordinary households. Taking flower height as an example, the flowers of Wang Ai's family generally have long and elongated branches, with the same height and height. It all depends on fate for scattered things, what they look like. Sending flowers or Wang Bin, sometimes Ai Xiaoqing goes on a last-minute basis. The flower company does not accept outstanding payments and always pays and delivers the goods. Those who run flower shops want to delay payment. Wang Bin remembers Wang Ai's words and just drove away, never coming back again. Wang Ai's family has a small population and lacks the energy to repeatedly deal with some debts. As an honest partner, we have a long-term cooperation. If you have a crooked mind, you pay homage to others. You have no choice but to take advantage of anyone you want. Not to mention the 3 cities of Shen, Liao, and then, there is currently no more professional flower grower in the province than the Wang Ai family. The flower shop, which had adjusted its attitude, called 3 times and asked 5 times. After some good words, Wang Bin returned and continued to cooperate happily. At the same time, Wang Bin also expanded his market to other cities, including Fushun, Tiling, and Fuxin around Shenyang, Inko, Panjin, and Dalian around Anshan, Benxi and Dandong around Liaoyang, and Jinzhou and Chaoyang to the west, covering almost all of Liaoning province. Flower shops are all located in the city center, so for places like Jinzhou and Chaoyang that are too far away, Wang Bin takes the train. Even in Jilin province, there are well-informed flower shops calling to proactively purchase. The second method proposed by Wang Ai is to buy a house in the city. The houses in Wangjia village are like this. When the spring of 1996 comes, 3 tiled houses will be built, which should be simple and not too ostentatious. After all, there are also 1/10 of households in the village who build 3 tiled houses, such as those who specialize in transportation or those who work in factories. Now that Wang Ai's family is building a house, they won't be jealous. At the same time, there needs to be a hideout in the city center. In the future, after the normalization and further expansion of the flower company, the houses in the village can be directly given to Wang Ai's grandparents. They can go to the village to collect flowers during the day and even come to live in the city at night. This is not only convenient for handling affairs, but also safe. The Municipal Public Security Bureau is building residential communities, and there is nothing safer than here. It is impossible to guarantee that there is nothing left on the road, and there is no problem staying indoors at night. Wang AI asked AI Xiaoqing to inquire with classmates or clients from the Public Security Bureau, and to buy a set at a high price from them is enough. Anyway, housing prices are very cheap these days, costing a few hundred yuan per square meter. The family with those government agencies already has a house. This time, the Public Security Bureau can build another house or not. If you occupy a spot, you can sell the house and earn tens of thousands of yuan more. Wang AI's third approach is to enter the manufacturing industry. In Wang AI's vision, there is a manufacturing sector involved. If you want to separate yourself from the dirty business of gambling and the most hated match fixing by fans, your family must have money. Your family has millions of assets, and no one believes in you gambling or even playing match fixing, and no one dares to hold you gambling. If Wang AI wants to keep himself clean and play football cleanly, his family must have money. Manufacturing is the foundation, but in Wang AI's vision, the flour company is actually just a facade. When it is said, it sounds good and has a touch of culture. In 1995 and 1996, most of the small paper mills in Liaoyang City that used to provide toilet paper for employees turned yellow. Private paper mills had already begun to emerge, which was a good opportunity to enter. So, under the instigation of Wang AI, machinery and equipment were purchased from the yellowed state-owned paper mill at the price of scrap iron. Later, the famous paper mill opened on the street, and the workers hired were also retired or laid off from the state-owned paper mill. The things here are complicated. Since 1996, the brothers Wang Bin and Wang Xiu have devoted their energy to the paper mill, dealing with various relationships and managing the enterprise. It is particularly troublesome, with many things to do, but with just one revolution of the machine, it can be tens of thousands. The 1024 type small paper machine, when turned down in one day, discards water and electricity bills, taxes, and worker wages, with a net profit of nearly 400 yuan. Even if the speed is faster, it can still increase, which is similar to printing money. More importantly, the market demand for toilet paper, napkins, and other products is extremely strong. With state-owned enterprises going bankrupt and closing down one after another, people's sources of newspapers to wipe their buttocks are gone, and there are not many notebooks left. There is no other choice but to use toilet paper. With the profits of the paper mill alone, the meticulously calculated income of 6 months can double the production capacity, which means buying another machine and equipment. This expansion speed is extremely astonishing. With a cycle of 6 months, it can increase by 16 times in 2 years. In just 3 years, which means there is no need to enter the new century, the paper industry alone can achieve an annual net profit of nearly 8 million. This is something that the flour company cannot achieve no matter what. With limited production capacity and limited demand, it is ultimately a niche industry, with huge profits returning to the profits, but the overall scale cannot increase. So in the second half of 1996, when Wang AI passed the middle school entrance examination and entered high school, AI Xiaoqing was the only one taking care of the flour company at home. A woman had difficulty delivering goods when going out, so she wanted to hire someone. However, there was too much money in between, so she came up with an idea to avoid trouble caused by people's thoughts. For those who are far away, please contact the railway system's train attendants for a box of fresh flowers and a ticket, and also give the train attendants 5 tickets as a gift. When they arrive at the station, let the fresh flower shop collect them themselves. After explaining the types and quantities of flowers you want on the phone in advance, deposit them into the account of the flour company in another location the next day. If the road is close, please ask the driver of the bus to give it away. Buy 1 ticket and give the driver 3 tickets. Both the train conductor and the driver don't know how much money is spent, and having a fixed job is a long-term business that is naturally safe and worry-free. Section 10. Learning so well that I'm even afraid of being a gangster, Part 1. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. In the impression of most people, children who study well are obedient and easily bullied. But in fact, if you study well to a certain extent, it is also very impressive. Not to mention the mischievous children in your classmates, even the thugs in society dare not touch them. Do you not believe in letting thugs try to touch the children in the youth class? Don't look at the drooping heads, and even tattered clothes. It's okay for the children in the youth class to bleed each other, but try a different person in society. If you mess around in society and give it a slap or a kick, you shouldn't do anything wrong. If the country doesn't kick you out of shit when you come back, you'll eat less. Although Wang did not attend the youth class, he was actually quite close. The youth classes at the University of Science and Technology of China and the University of East China also have preparatory courses, equivalent to high school. According to age, Wang who attended a high school with a total score close to perfect in the 1996 middle school entrance examination in Liaoyang City, was only 9 years old, slightly younger than the average children in the youth class. This shot is deafening. So on the surface, Wang caused a sensation and passed away. He usually goes to and from school every day, but in fact, in every aspect of Liaoyang City, especially at the education center, from the deputy secretary in charge of education, the deputy mayor, to the school principal and teachers, they are all fixed in his eyes. But Wang is too low-key and doesn't appear in newspapers or TV. Except for those who are knowledgeable about education, everyone else is at a loss. Even many people in Wangjia village only know that Wang is studying in the city. After the high school entrance examination, the director of the Municipal Education Bureau personally met with Wang and asked him to give an interview and appear on TV. Wang didn't agree, but he also said, "I studied in high school for 2 years, jumped to the 3rd year after the 1st year, and then took the college entrance examination. Isn't it even more sensational for me to be interviewed when I get into college?" After pondering, the director of education realized that he was only 11 years later, which is different from the youth class. Children in the youth class enter through entrance exams in various schools, rather than passing the college entrance examination. And those who can enter university at the age of 11 by taking the college entrance examination line, not to mention Liaoyang City, Liaoning Province. It seems that there have been no such cases since the resumption of the national college entrance examination. This TM is a big satellite. So, the leaders of the Municipal Education Bureau personally called to remind all aspects, in order to ensure that our prodigies study with peace of mind, not to disturb any aspect, we will wait for 2 years. It is said that the practice of cherishing talents, protecting talents, and not rushing for quick gains by the Municipal Education Bureau has also been praised by the competent leaders of the Municipal Party Committee in government. After all, everyone knows that the new sensationalism of attending high school at the age of 9 cannot be compared to that of attending university at the age of 11. The former is mostly for self-entertainment in the city, while the latter can break out of Liaoning province and spread to the whole country. It is appropriate for CCTV to interview at that time, and a lengthy report by China Education Daily is inevitable. Leaders at all levels will have the opportunity to appear. Wang low-key attitude also affected his parents. Wang Bin and Xiaoqing are both the eldest in 2 families, and their parents both have a preference for their eldest son. Naturally, they treat the 2 eldest brothers equally. The 2 eldest brothers have stubborn personalities, but they are not ostentatious. Under Wang advice, they insist on a low-key Wang Dao. So, the flower business lasted for more than 3 years until 1996, bringing in a cumulative income of 2 to 3 million yuan. No one even noticed that the family still had a broken bread machine that was similar to scrap metal, and the clothes of a family of 3 were still similar to those of an old farmer. But the situation changed in the second half of 1996. When they had abundant funds and entered the paper industry with great strides, and other enterprises did not understand management and command randomly, their profits were extremely unstable, and they often lost money. Under the guidance of Wang AI at a critical moment, after adjusting and streamlining the management order, the paper mill with the registered trademark 80 managed to hold back 16 paper machines in one breath, which was twice as much as the other factories combined. In addition, at the beginning, both the equipment and personnel were from old state-owned enterprises, and the corporate culture was also close to that of state-owned enterprises. Wang AI put a lot of effort into adjusting it, completely breaking the big pot and stimulating work enthusiasm, but he was not stingy in terms of salary, benefits. Although the workers work in 3 shifts, their income has doubled compared to the previous factories, and they still distribute goods during the Chinese New Year and holidays. Although private enterprises were not allowed to establish trade unions or party committees in 1997, under the personal attention of Wang AI, a retired and honest old secretary from a state-owned enterprise was rehired to be responsible for the actual work of these organizations or departments, and everything was done well in the factory. So people are particularly united. In 1997, during an era of high employee turnover in private enterprises, the Love Paper Mill was like a talent giant, eating it would not spit it out, so one could rest assured. For long-term planning, employees are very responsible in their work. The corporate culture of old state-owned enterprises is to take the factory as the home, put the collective first, and work together for wealth and prosperity. Of course, it also brings bad luck. This time, if you want to hide it, you can't hide it. Although the brothers Wang Bin and Wang Xiu still don't appear on TV or accept interviews, they are low-key and in a mess. However, there are only 4 large trucks in the factory, and there are only 16 drivers. They deliver goods to the whole province non-stop every day, with a daily turnover of 50.60000 yuan. Vehicles delivering coal and waste paper continue to flow. The government was curious about an investigation, and in silence, a large enterprise emerged. Even according to the standards of state-owned enterprises, it is almost enough to be a medium-sized enterprise. The annual profit is hard to say. These years, private enterprises are estimated to be taxed, but their annual turnover is nearly 20 million, and they hire more than 300 employees. However, the Wang brothers are too low-key, do not accept recognition, do not attend meetings, the government can only temporarily maintain attention, anyway you cannot always hide in the water and not come out. This year, the top priority for the economy is to develop, and all 3 provinces in the east are facing a huge risk of state-owned enterprise bankruptcy. For private enterprises, at least for local private enterprises, they are still very friendly. After all, a company with an annual profit tax of 5 million yuan and rapid development cannot be protected too much. As long as Wang Bin publicly appears, the city government can visit the company the next day and ask for help. Wang AI's request for a low-key family is due to one reason. Her own strength is not enough. When the peak of layoffs came in 1998 and 1999, and the company rapidly developed again, capable of hiring 700 to 800 or even thousands of people, it was time to show its presence. Because at that time, the municipal party committee in government had a burning attitude towards all enterprises that could solve the problem of re-employment for laid-off workers. What do you want? As long as you can recruit 2 more laid-off workers, you can talk about everything you want. With Wang AI's shallow rural interpersonal relationships, without absolute strength, if the government were to beg for him and dare to take the initiative, it would be the 99s and 81 difficulties of the Western heaven to obtain scriptures. If any department of the government comes, they won't look at you with a straight eye. If they say they are wrong, they will be wrong. Do you dare to ask for money from various charity organizations under various guises? I stink you in the newspaper. Not to mention people from all walks of life, it's not uncommon to shoot people in the street these days. Do you dare to pay ground beetle money? Violent crimes were mainly eradicated in Liaoyang from the 1980s until the first decade of the new century. Since ancient times, northeast China has been a place where agriculture and war are integrated, and there is almost no cultural soil for commodity economy. Do you say that in this situation, if there is no relationship, suddenly having money, and not being low-key, then not seeking death? One characteristic of local thugs is to ponder and play with others when they have nothing to do. It's good to come knocking on someone who has money and ask for it directly. You can definitely do it by knocking on the back, deceiving the white wolf, and robbing the house. For this reason, Wang Ai specifically asked Wang Bin and his wife to visit the city's Armed Forces Department, who they also met at a flower shop, and said they would help the Armed Forces Department solve the problem of demobilized soldiers. The Armed Forces Department was overjoyed and directly retrieved the list, which contained clear photos, branches, and family addresses. At the end of the year, the Armed Forces Department also issued a certificate of support for the army as a model soldier. Wang Bin invited about 30 rural soldiers who had been discharged but not assigned to work in the factory, and selected 6 of them who were knowledgeable and had good character as guards. Among them, there are 2 brothers, Wang Bin and Wang Xiu, who take them out whenever they have something to do. One is Ai Xiaoqing, and Wang Ai is also equipped with one. They accompany Wang Ai to school every day. This person has some connection with Wang Ai. He is Li Lin, the elder brother of the true Fan Li Jun. He is from a reconnaissance company of a certain regiment under the 38th Army. His martial arts are excellent and he is also very kind. Outside the government level, rumors about love paper mill in society cannot be controlled and have begun to emerge. After all, with so many employees working in the factory, such a large scale is enough. There is a big thug named Song Lao Lu, whose name is very well known and he has been in and out several times. Recently, in 1995, I entered again due to provocation and trouble. In 1997, I just came out and my brothers in society came and went to eat well for a month, and then they went their separate ways. Upon reflection, Song Lao Lu realized that he was nearly 40 years old and different from before. It wouldn't be the same to run around the streets with a knife anymore. It was time to figure out how to make money. But I have no technology, no connections, and no capital. When I ask a few little brothers about the distribution station, they all hum and ha. Obviously, I don't want to enter this industry. Every day, Song Lao Lu would squat on the doorstep, smoking cigarettes and pondering where to make money. The young couple from the neighbor's family both work at the beloved paper mill, and as they come and go, Song Lao Lu pays attention. The Wang family, who suffered losses, hid deeply, while the neighboring couple was careless. It took Song Lao Lu a month of hard thinking to roughly understand the situation. Song Lao Lu knew that there were many retired soldiers in their factory, and he thought that he would definitely not be able to do it by force. Moreover, as a person with a long history, he couldn't play hard unless he wanted to die. So Song Lao Lu came up with a clever idea. To meet and talk directly. In the early years of 1997, he made a phone call to the factory and reported himself as by Ta Song Lao Lu. He had a business to discuss with the boss. I don't have time now. If I have time at night, I'll set up a table at the Golden Coast restaurant next to the Municipal Public Security Bureau and ask the boss to save face. On this day, Wang Ai happened to be in the factory. There were so many people in the factory, and there were many things to do. Even if Wang Bin had culture, he didn't understand management. Therefore, Wang Ai often had to sit in the factory to help handle some things, especially establishing and adjusting various systems, and gradually guiding. So Wang Ai heard about this matter. Song Lao Lu signed up to meet, so hiding is definitely not a solution. No matter what the purpose is, at least the means are open-minded. It's much better than throwing gasoline bottles at your factory's raw material warehouse in the middle of the night. There are countless bankrupt factories that have been burned down, and only a few have solved cases.